Finally cleaned up the plated trainers over there. Got the shoe rack looking nice again. Alright, so today I'm going to try the different kind of endurance fuel. I'm going with the berry flavor back here, but I really need to mix it up. So guys, if you want to try this Tailwind, I will put my link below. Here we go, Mandarin. I got a 25% off code. It's Iwana25, and you can get 25% off the starter kit. This stuff absolutely saves me for all my long runs. It just makes it so much easier to turn over the legs at the end. Oh, this one is not caffeinated. We need to get a caffeinated one. That's the nice thing about the starter kit too. You get the caffeinated and non-caffeinated versions of the recovery mix. Here we go. Tropical. Yeah, you'll get the caffeinated and non-caffeinated versions of the recovery mix, as well as the endurance fuel. So I think let me see. Yeah, this is the recovery mix right here. The Tailwind salted caramel. I ran out of the big bags of it, so this is what we'll use after the run today. And this is In Flight Tropical Caffeinated. Let's go, baby. Alright. No trap house look today. Watch. We're gonna get it this time. Extreme focus. Ah, that was almost perfect. Just mild spillage right there, but definitely not the Pablo Escobar look on the table that we usually have. I guess this will just get naturally shaken up as I run along, huh? So for the past few weeks on these long runs, I've been using the Morton gels as well. So I've been doing the Tailwind non-caffeinated and then the caffeinated Morton gels at miles, maybe like mile 5 and mile 14. Today I'm just gonna go with the Morton, no other gel. So we'll see how we do. That's a little bit of a different fueling system than I've been using. Then in terms of the run itself, so last week I really wanted to do a workout in my 22 miler, but I was under fueled and it was a mess because I was coming off of traveling to Duke and didn't have my stuff together. But the week before that I did a 22 miler on the treadmill where I did 2 rounds of 5 miles at marathon pace and then 1 mile at threshold. So I'm thinking of doing another Jack Daniels style workout like that this morning. I was looking at the Daniels training book last night and came across his final 12-week marathon plan. It seems like it might be the exact fit that I need right now. And the first workout he had in there was a 22 miler with 4-mile warm-up, 8 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile at threshold, another 6 miles I believe at marathon pace, and then 1 more mile at threshold. So that would be a pretty beast workout. We'll see how I feel. I'm definitely going to try to take that first section at marathon pace, so 4 miles of warm-up and then 8 miles at marathon pace. And we're going to put these guys to their first real tough workout test and see how they do.
Muffin on the track.
Alright guys, we just finished 22 miles in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, which is my longest run so far in these guys, and also probably my best run so far of the training block. Like I was saying in the house, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do on this beast workout today. Couldn't quite hit the threshold pace, and not going to exactly blame that on the shoes, it's probably my fitness. But other than that, really solid effort and a bounce back from that terrible underfueled long run last week. Now, when it comes to the shoes, as you know, if you watch this channel, I tried to make this the most positive positive place ever. My goal is to be the positive corner of the internet. So when I have people coming at me saying my analysis is wrong, I think about 17 different things I could clap back when I'm on my runs, but I don't do that because my mom taught me well. Shout out to Pamela Lamala. And I want this to be a fun, happy place where you guys come and we just all share our opinions on shoes. However, there are a few comments that sometimes I just can't get out of my brain. They wake me up in the middle of the night and they have me second guessing my analysis. So when a few people out there who ran in the Speed 4 as well, who were able to snag it early, said that this wasn't a soft shoe like the Speed 3, that this was one of the fastest shoes they've run in, I was wondering if I got my analysis wrong. However, today proved that that is not the case. Now, so for this run, I did 4 miles warm up, 8 miles at marathon pace, tried to hit 1 threshold mile, which didn't quite get down to the pace range that I wanted to. And then I did another 6 at marathon pace and then closed it out with another failed threshold mile. So if you add all that up, it's about 16 miles at a marathon effort. I don't know exactly what my average pace was. It was probably 6:30 something, which is pretty solid given where my training has been. So I've been running my long runs in the Boston 12 and I've also used the Alpha Fly a few times, and both of those shoes felt a lot firmer and just a little bit more supportive in the forefoot than this guy. So when I was warming up in the shoe, it felt great because that's that steady pace zone where the shoe so far has excelled for me. For me, that pace range is anywhere from 740 down to 630. That's where the shoe feels awesome. And so when I really tried to step on the gas, get it down to that marathon pace, half marathon pace, threshold pace, it just didn't give me the response that I wanted. This is a very soft look at this. You guys are telling me this is not a soft shoe. You cannot do this with a firm shoe. I cannot do this with the Boston 12. Now granted, this guy has been warmed up and I just ran 2.5 hours in it, but I'm telling you, it just, for me, when I want to run fast, it doesn't have that aggression and bite that I really want in an up-tempo marathon training shoe. Now the main issue that I was concerned with for the long run was whether it was going to give that bottoming out feeling. Now I used this term the other day and someone rightfully asked me, dude, what does that mean? And as you guys know, I do not like using terms that are confusing. So when I say bottoming out, it means it feels like I'm not getting enough support, shock absorption, balance from the forefoot of the foam. Usually it happens in the forefoot, and especially comparing it to what that shoe would normally do. So if a shoe feels like it's bottoming out, that means at one point it felt a lot better, a lot more supportive, a lot bouncier, a lot more like it was protecting your legs. And then at that bottoming out phase, it felt like I was running on top of the ground or just getting more ground feel, not enough protection from the shoe. So unfortunately, I can report I did in fact get that same exact thing happening in the Speed 4 around maybe the 90-minute mark. That's where I started to kick in, especially when I was trying to dig in, hit that faster threshold pace, get it below 620. I just couldn't get the response that I wanted from the shoe. It felt like there was a limiter on it, which for me, it was maxing out at about that 620 pace range. For some of you guys, if you're running at different pace ranges or if you're lighter, you might not experience it in the shoe. But for me, at my pace range and my size, it really is noticeable when we get down to those low 6-minute ranges. Good old water break as the neighbors pass. Fueling today, by the way, I did 1 sachet of the Tailwind Tropical, which was caffeinated, and I think I drank maybe 80% of it. I didn't do any of those Mortons. Maybe I should hit up Morton and see if they can send me some stuff, but I think they only send stuff if you run sub 215 and are a very serious marathon trainer, which I'm not. I'm a silly guy, so I don't know if they'd send me anything, but I didn't do the Mortons today. I've been doing the Mortons on most of my runs, the 2 of the caffeinated gels, which is a really nice caffeine boost because they're 100 milligrams of caffeine and 100 calories, I think 25 grams of carbs. So that's an extra 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is a pretty serious infusion of caffeine into your bloodstream. But if you're running 2.5 hours, you can burn it off. And I'm usually very amped, even more amped than I am now after those runs when I use the Morton. But today I just did that 1 sachet of the Tailwind. I felt great. I didn't feel like I needed any other gels, but with marathon training, it's really, you want to get in as many calories as you can sustain. And I know that I can do well with more calories. So next week I might mix in some gels alongside the Tailwind, which is nice because that's just a steady stream of calories throughout the run. So in terms of the overall performance of the shoe today, it was comfortable, but again, for the last 30 minutes to 45 minutes, did feel a little bit of that bottoming out in the forefoot. It's not going to be as structured as something like the Boston 12 or a carbon fiber plated racer. So if you are doing tough workouts like this past that 2-hour mark, you're probably going to want something with a little bit more bite to it than we're seeing in the Speed 4 here. So far I'm now 58 miles in on the shoe. I really enjoy it as a daily trainer, which is why I've been racking up a ton of miles on it. But as a fast speed shoe, it's just not doing the trick for me. And it's not necessarily because of the weight either. I know that was another thing we were concerned with. I actually don't mind the weight because the Adidas Boston 12 is even heavier than this. I think it's in the high 9-ounce range for my size. Maybe we'll do a weigh-in inside, see how these compare. This one is wet, so I can compare it to when it was dry. But I don't mind the weight. It's just, if it's gonna be a little bit heavier, it should have a little bit more pop to it, especially in the forefoot, which this guy isn't quite giving me. So my verdict for the long run is comfortable if you're running maybe up to 2 hours and if you're a lighter runner. But if you're gonna be putting down some serious sub 630, sub 650 pace, so that sub 3 marathon pace range, and you're a bigger runner, a stronger runner, this probably isn't gonna be as supportive as you would like. So, all right guys, as always, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for the next Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 update, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.